Hey everyone, thanks for joining us tonight on Sharky Waters Wednesday Night Dive. The world shut down, but it's still Wednesday, so we're still here. We're going to be talking about the coronavirus, obviously. But before we get into that, before we do some shooting on the pool table and get to the game that we all love, I wanted to do some unpacking of thanks to our sponsors. Harold Prine from Prine Custom Cues.
Yeah.
Our guest over here, Sean, he's the one who hooked he and I's correspondence up together to get Harold to give me the green light to have this shaft. So thanks again for that. Sean, thanks again for that.
Hey, you're welcome, of course.
Tipsy Tomato, everybody, big shout out to them. They're one of the small businesses majorly affected by what's going on in our local quarantine. We're all shut down, and restaurants have been instructed to send their employees home. So we have a 125% increase from last week's unemployment rates here in the state of Washington. So big love to our bartender, Amber, who always takes care of us every night out there, and all the other people who are in the service industry right now who are hurting and worrying. We're going to unpack a little bit about some of the things that we've heard that maybe people can look forward to, or things that you can do that will help out your situation. And then clean slate pool tables. I'm actually still helping people out. There was a lot of news from the WBCA of the canceling of their tournaments. A lot of people, the WBCA had their people contact Airbnb and kind of force their hand on some refunds. So I've already lined up a couple people who have looked to me to get their pool tables refurbished and refelted with some of that money that they're getting kicked back because they're going to be locked down at home. So as long as the state's like letting me get out there and do that, I'll come do that. I promise I'll like keep my space and keep my distance, but the phone number's on the wall if you guys want to contact me about that. Because we all got to be doing our little bit of work. And Sean, why don't you take the floor? Oh, he's over there, Sharon and Kevin. So in the meantime, let me check my teleprompter and make sure that I got everything, because I normally never do that. But and then the break pot, we're gonna do what's that? Yeah. Definitely, we've got the donations up. You guys were all like hurting in our own ways, but it's not easy for us to keep this thing going whenever we're getting the restrictions put on us. So if you guys are feeling generous or enjoying having some entertainment, then hit that donation button. If you're bored during the week and you're experiencing the lockdown, don't forget we have all of the former episodes of Sharky Waters on YouTube, on the Sharky Waters YouTube page. You can hit subscribe on that. You can also go through all of those and check it out. Sean had an episode from earlier last year on our Christmas episode.
Yeah, we're...
David Lash had an episode in season 1. He's going to be in the studio next week, so you can kind of check out that. I'm looking to show some big improvements on my skills from last year's performance with him till this year's. So I might even jump on and take a rewatch of that one. But Sean, thanks for coming in, man. I know we unpacked like a pretty long story or a lot of data on the decision whether you were going to make the trip over here or not. But
Yeah, and actually I was going to speak towards that just for everyone that's sort of like curious why I'm here. Sort of like the thought process for us is because we're all like good friends, and we've been spending pretty much the whole time, all of our free time, at least my free time, I spend mostly here when I have my son. And I sort of like feel like because I've mitigated and contained myself beyond this, and like I'm just no outside contact with anybody. But since we've already been in contact with each other like super regularly throughout this entire thing since the beginning and before, that I felt like it's not really a risk so much as being like if I didn't know you and didn't spend like the last 2 weekends hanging out with you like the whole time basically,
we have
I wouldn't be here. So but we talked about
dialogue here about like our inner council and our outer council. And in that kind of way, we're like very much all like in the same inner council, this little core group of people that we're exposing ourselves to in this moment right now are like the same people that we've been exposing ourselves to
exactly
for the past several weeks.
Just been treating like we're in it together, and we, I do understand that's like, there's going to be like a little bit of talk about like, well, you do really need to control your environment and stuff, but my thought process based on all the data that I've collected, which is pretty significant, and I'm hoping that more really good information comes out that's like actionable so that we can really make really better decisions than we have been moving forward, that, things may change. But up until now, I feel like if one of us had already contracted it, it would have we would have already given it to each other. So we're sort of just in a waiting game until the testing becomes available and whatnot.
I'm just kidding.
Nice one. I think you're supposed to have like a dry cough there.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right. But yeah. Anyways, so whatever. We're gonna hang out and play some pool for a little bit.
Yeah. Luckily, we've shown like no symptoms aside from like an allergy here or there for the past several weeks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that after reading about all the symptoms that are common, especially the fever, that I had a little bit of like kind of what I would expect would be like an early spring allergy reaction, which is like normal for me. I have really bad seasonal allergies. I take a pill every single day all the year long, and it's like springtime, especially between like beginning of March, which is right now, probably through June. It's brutal. So I'm sort of like thinking, who knows what's going to happen? I can't get a test anyway, so it sort of doesn't matter.
I'm thinking about that.
You know what I mean? But like, I feel like it's just allergies.
I'm thinking about that.
And I'm
time.
good today. Today I feel good. I mean, I got no issues.
I'm thinking about that time that time that Tor introduced you to his music friend Sean Lewis.
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't introduce us. We just ended up being on the same.
Ended up crossing in the same thread, right? And you had posted.
I actually knew about that guy before. I didn't know that Tor knew him, but I actually knew who he was just through like, obviously if you know about someone that has the same name as you that lives basically in the same county that you live in.
Right.
It sort of happened, especially because he's like because he's a musician or whatever, an artist that he's known, and I'm sort of known as well, being a pool player.
Yeah, I was like in that same cyberspace comment thread when you had posted the meme with the Spider-Man, looking at the Spider-Man.
That was him that posted it. That was pretty dope.
The other Sean Lewis had posted that to you. My mistake.
The two Spider-Mans facing off.
It reminds me, I had seen a meme that was the three Spider-Mans pointing at each other, and one of them was seasonal allergies, and one of them was seasonal virus, and then one of them was coronavirus, or seasonal flu. It was like all three of them. It's like the dialogue in society right now is so heavy that anytime someone like that's kind of Eric's joke, right? He sneezes in the corner and everyone looks at him all suspect. That's like really happening out there. You go to the grocery store.
That was like the joke of the last 2 weeks in my casino too. I'm like at work. Every time someone would cough, would be like, Corona!
Yeah.
Corona! And you're just like, and everyone's just like, what? Which, who knows? That's the thing, who knows? All right, so we're gonna do a drill?
I'm just gonna work on the shot and give you some more airtime to talk about the data.
We don't have enough time for that. I mean, I could talk. I'm not. No BS.
What's the biggest thing
in the last week? I have
you?
Probably spent 40 hours or more online, looking at websites, looking at information, trying to filter it, passing as much of the good stuff as I can on to everyone else that's that I have access to, as far as like that might just randomly look at my feed, because I think that my personal opinion is that knowledge is power, and we need to get that out there. I'm hoping that other people are like-minded and can help potentially save a life at them. That's all we're trying to do.
Big time.
Save lives right now.
Big time. I put a post out from Clean Slate Pool Tables with the idea of just kind of getting all the pool players that follow that page to acknowledge, like, we as pool players are very much we have a lot of like real vulnerable population inside of the pool community. We're like the smokers and the drinkers and the fried chicken eaters, and we're not exactly the ones who go out running every day.
Talk about risk factors.
Those are big factors. What are some of the other things that are concerning you about the data that you're reading and pertains to like the decisions that some people are and aren't doing? Because I see some people out there still formulating get-togethers and gatherings.
Yeah, and I think that's going to cease. I think a little bit of it, I think that what's happening, like at the beginning, people were like not really taking it as seriously as they maybe should have, like as far as like early on, which is understandable because there's like the cultural mentality, especially in the U.S., is really, and I'm not going to lie, it's very like whatever, and just, this is just like a propaganda and blah, blah, blah. And, there's so much like, there's so much desire for people to like blow stuff out of proportion. And like some people are just they don't do their due diligence and actually do the research to find out if this is actually like a legitimate like concern or not. I mean, I have a really good friend of mine that used to be a nurse and now he works in the casino business. That like 2 months ago, when they first found out about like the first case, or like the first came out of China, he immediately started working like extra hours at the casino. Him and his wife, they've been putting in like 10 to 15 extra hours a week. He like stocked up, bought a bunch of, like miscellaneous like stuff like the right way. He didn't go crazy. He's like, yeah, we basically bought enough like dry goods and and supplies and stuff like to live for 2 months without leaving the house, just in case. And he's like, and I went to the gun store, bought a couple shotguns and a bunch of rounds and stuff, just in case, and all that stuff. And he's like, not everyone is obviously going to be like that kind of guy, but this is a person that was a medical professional at one time in his life and is like actually taking this very, very seriously. And I was talking to Dom about it. When I came by one day, I was talking to him on the phone and I was like, dude, I'm so irritated that I didn't talk to you about this beforehand, because it's like, I could have done a little bit more early on. And, and actually really the thing that I'm more irritated about is that I can't protect myself from going outside and getting all these supplies and stuff. And I can't quarantine myself quickly because I have to like actually go to public to buy all this stuff so that I can like not see people for like a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I would have been nice to be able to prep for this, and I could just be chilling at home the whole time and not have to like fight the crowds, do all that stuff and all that. And I'm like, but with that being said, it is what it is, and now we're just going to do the best we can moving forward, hopefully.
Well, and there's a lot of people out there that are living their lives so reactionary and moment to moment that planning, even when you see it coming.
Let's do a drill, bro.
Let's do. I was just trying to hit from here to here to here while I was talking in that.
All right, so I mean, I got a couple drills, but I'm gonna ask you because we're gonna just work on what you work for you for now, because I could work on all this shit. So we'll do follow or draw. What do you want to work on today?
Follow.
Follow. All right.
Follow for show. Draw for dough.
So this comes from Mark Wilson, who's like one of the gurus of instructional pool. So basically, this is what we do. You just line it up. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be quite straight in, but you gotta put the cue ball one diamond off of where the object ball is gonna be. And what you do here is you're just gonna follow. You're gonna shoot this shot. You get ball in hand. It just has to be on the line, so you can decide how you want it. So, like, to accomplish this drill, the goal is to make the ball, follow the cue ball, and have the cue ball end up. Do we have like? Anyways, we'll just call it. Here, let me get a piece. Well, we don't have it. Anyways, the way the drill is, there's like a piece of 11.5 by 8 paper here. I mean, for this drill, it's easy because it's like you can tell. But you want to have the cue ball end up in this spot, anywhere in this zone. You can hit this rail or this rail, and that's all fine.
Try and land on the piece of paper.
Yeah. So, and then.
And pocket it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all these drills are contingent on you making the ball.
Of course.
So if you accomplish the shot, you get 1 point. And then now you move the object ball 1 diamond further out.
Okay.
And this ball, I think it's set up like 1 ball off the rail.
Okay.
Down at the end?
Yeah, it just goes here, basically. So you need the cue ball can be overlapping or on top of this.
Got it.
And then and that's a point. So if you don't make the ball,
you don't
no
get
point.
Got it.
Then you go back to the original spot.
Because I didn't make it.
You didn't make it. So now out of 2 shots, you have 1 point.
Got it.
So now you have 2 points, and we go back to this spot.
Got it.
And you're supposed to shoot this shot 10 times, and
this is 3, right?
This is your 4th attempt.
Get up there.
So now you have 3 out of a possible 4, and that was here, right? So now we're gonna go to here. Just put it a little bit off. I think a ball off the rail is ideal. Right on the, you gotta put it on. right here.
You got one diamond away.
Yeah, one diamond away. And the purpose for this is because with all things being equal, the distance here is the same. So like the amount of follow that you're applying is way more like measurable for your stroke. So it's like this shot here, you know, like
plus one
is just a little bit more follow than the prior shot.
Right.
And really the whole object is here is you want it to be a consistent measurable amount in your mind so that you know, okay, I got to follow the cue ball 5 feet on this shot, you know, for instance. All right, so you have 6 out of possible 7, right? So where are we at now? Right here?
Yep.
All right.
Too short on that one.
So you have 6 out of a possible 8, and we go back to the original, back to the last position. Yeah, when you fail, or you don't, shouldn't say, I mean, fail is whatever, but when you don't do the shot the way that you're planning, you just go back, you move it up 1 diamond, and then you shoot the shot again. And like the point system is for like, this is all incorporates into a whole, like, basically a score sheet, which basically is like, this is the portion of it where that tests your ability to follow with consistency the cue ball. And there's one for draw, shot making,
do it the same way,
position play, pattern play. So, and you know, and all in all, I think there's 8 different. Oh, this is from Dr. Dave, actually. This isn't Mark Wilson. My bad. This is from Dr. Dave's like pool school thing that he does.
Is that online, like drdaves.com or something?
Yeah,
maybe?
it's like coloradostate.edu.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of good info on that one.
He's the guy that does that. I mean, he's retired now, so I think he's going to be putting out a lot more content down the road. But like his, you know, his background is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dr. Dave Alciator. Yeah, if you fail on the shot in any way, you can't scratch, it's not allowed, obviously. Then, you know, and so I'm going to recommend, because you did scratch on that shot, that you play to hit this rail, or actually the way I always shoot this shot is to try to hit the side rail.
That's how I was doing it.
You try to hit the side rail and then back.
Yeah.
So you just play your cue ball, put your cue ball initially ball in hand slightly to where you're slightly cutting it to the right. I think it makes the shot a little bit easier personally, because then you don't have to sweat the scratch. Because if you're going straight into the paper, then what happens is if you're going right at the corner pocket, you're reducing your ability to have shape at the end, because if you take this rail away, now you can't hit the rail and come back out. So you're like actually reducing your target by 1 sheet of paper by not playing it to this rail. The goal is really, I think, the best way to shoot this shot to be consistent is to hit the side rail and the end rail, and then have it come back out to this spot.
Because then you're spending a lot of time crossing that.
Well, you're giving yourself the largest room for error, and not just that, but the cushions will absorb some of the energy, and that actually will slow the ball down. Like if it goes in at a certain speed here, it'll hit this rail and it'll actually have less speed coming back.
Right.
And that will slow the ball down, and that gives you a better landing spot. And if you hit it too soft, you'll be there already.
Jeff Hefe says that you're the man and you taught him a lot back in the day at Dr. Q's.
Hey, does Jeff know Dr. Dave? I know that Jeff lived in Colorado one time.
I don't know, Jeff. Hit us up on the thread. Let us know if you know Dr. Dave. Is Jeff Hefe still living in Cali or in Colorado? Yeah.
I haven't seen Jeff in forever, since Dr. Q's. Yeah, so ultimately, the way you score it is you get down to where...
9?
Well, you shoot 10 for scoring potential, but this is just a drill. Yeah. Really, the object here, I believe, is just to be able to shoot it and accomplish it as many times as you can. So the last position is you put the 5 ball would be here, and your object ball here, and you're just trying to get that spot. If you can consistently, you know, use that position, like use that amount of spin, that's all the follow that you'll need for almost every shot that exists, really. Like this normal. If you're in line, you shouldn't need much more follow than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that kind of distance.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a good one for like follow. I mean, obviously.
And then you're saying you go this way to try and draw.
No, draw is different.
Let's just see that one.
So the draw shot, yeah, for those that want to know, like I said, you can go on Dr. Dave on his Facebook and get links to all this stuff. And this is from I forget what it is, the Billiards University, but I think it's just the first one, whatever it is. There's 3, I think. So the draw one, you initially set it up like this. The 5-ball or the 1 or whatever you're using will always be on this first diamond. And the object is to draw the cue ball back to a zone that's 1 diamond off the side rail to the rail, and then go from 2 to the side pocket. So this whole box right here, basically. And you draw back, and you start, the first shot is you will start here with your cue ball on the second diamond, and then just draw back into this zone. Anywhere in this zone is good. So this is if the cue ball is overlapping even the edge of it on the line, that technically is good for purpose, and it stays there. So if I did that shot, this ball will always be here.
Got it.
Now instead of being here, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna try to draw back to the same square. All right. And if you guys are curious, he did this whole thing with Shane. This is years ago, before Shane, I think at that time his Fargo was like 805 or something like that. And he did this drill, and he'd never done it before. And if he practiced it for a couple weeks, he'd be better at it. So, but there's a measurement, a metric. It's a good metric.
So I'm looking here, and I believe you're talking about Dr. Dave's, which would be billiards.colostate.edu.
That's right. Yeah, that's it.
Which is
so
not
I did it again.
University.
So now I'm going to go to here.
But that is where he was a professor, I believe.
Yeah, he was an engineering professor there, mechanical engineering professor for however long, and did this on the side, and then he just retired this year.
Yeah,
and,
he posted a thing out that said he was looking forward to
and I don't know if you guys know, like Sam Diep, Vidal Claremont, or she's also associated with that Billiards University thing, the Cherry Bomb. I don't know if you know her or not, but anyways. So they do the pool school and all that. There's actually, if you're really into it, they have a class you can go, and it's like a boot camp. It's like 3 weeks. All right, so I barely got there. But you see, like, the way that I try to do this is I try to barely get to the spot. I find for me on a fast table like this that if you're trying to draw back, like, to the middle, it's really easy to draw too far back.
Right.
Where was that, right here?
Yes.
I think so anyways, you keep shooting it, and then, like, if you don't get there, then you move it back to that spot, right?
Correct.
And then ultimately, the last one is you just shoot it from here until you can't do it. And this is super tough, right? Because it's a long way. It requires quite a bit of stroke and consistency with your stroke. And on this shot, what I like to do is draw and then hit this rail and come back if I can, or come straight back. Because it's easy to, like, twist it and have the cue ball, like, float out here, and that's not a success. And the only thing is your cue ball needs to start out, like, on the 1 diamond or in, anywhere on the line. This is a little tricky because you're elevated more because the rail's right here. And you don't get to control your bridge length. So, so it's actually, this is far tougher than 1 spot up. Yeah, almost. But yeah, so so I didn't do it, so I'd move it back to here, so on and so forth.
Let me try that.
Why don't you try it, Uncle Dom? So this will really teach you, because, like, when you shoot the shot, obviously if you make it, your line is correct. But you can also see, especially with the measles ball, if you're applying an unintentional side spin, you'll be able to see that because it will twist the ball and you'll miss a lot of shots from that. Not because your accuracy is bad as far as, like, you're shooting the correct line, but the spin will cause you to miss the ball over that length of that distance.
Right.
So it's very, very important that you're using just low ball with no side English when the ball's that far apart. You did it. So
I was trying to get here, like you were saying, though, right?
No, you're good. So if you just do that again forever, you're gonna win this game.
Totally.
But that's the hard part. So, like, once you get to the end where you're at the hardest one, every consecutive time you make it, you get 2 points instead of 1 for purposes of the drill.
Say that again.
You get bonus points once you get to the maximum, which is the back.
Yeah.
So like you get to the back, and if you make that, you get 2 points, and then it stays there. So the maximum I think is, I forget what it is, but if you go and download the drills, it's all free, available. There's apps they have apps, like one of their students created an app to where you don't even need paper. It's just like you just hit success or whatever, and it has little boxes like open or close boxes, and then at the end it'll tabulate the score. Super simple. It's a little bit easier if you have someone to help you, because then they can set the shots up and keep track, and then you can just stay mentally in the game. Because obviously that's focused. A big part of it. Stay focused on it, and you're not doing any. So that's, this is a really good draw drill. I mean, and really, you can just practice this all the time. I mean, it's like, the shot's not that tough, but it's not a shot-making drill. It's a draw drill, specifically for control draw, not just power draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, because it's like, well, you don't want to, like, be trying to, like, do too much with one shot. If you're trying to learn something, you want to just, like, eliminate as many outside variables as possible and just work on one specific thing at a time, so you can really energize that one thing, focus on that one thing. And like, this is a really good drill for that, because there's no side spin. Side spin will hurt you. Controlled draw or controlled follow or whatever. That's what it's all about. And just being able to like really dial in your speed of your stroke, and like where you're applying, where you're hitting the cue ball on the equipment that you're on. And I mean, if you can do that every time, you're a good player. That's basically what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you do the whole set of drills, it will show you, because you'll have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 categories where your scores are going to be significantly higher or lower than the other ones. And those will tell you what you should be working on.
Where your areas of improvement are.
Like my follow game is super good, so I don't even do that drill anymore, because like I pretty much am like 80 to 90% completion on all of those, that follow drill. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much just work on the draw drill all the time when I'm doing the stroke drills. But there are other position play drills and stuff as well that I'll do as well. And like I said, you guys, this is a great, super simple resource. It's easy. Just set up all the shots. He does diagrams, because there's like certain places where the balls are going to be set up for like shot making drills and position drills. And like, he has like downloadable material and all that. And like, there's a whole series of YouTube videos describing like ways to advance on each one of the drills. He'll like run through, be like, this is what you work on if you're like struggling with this drill, and all that stuff. So it's actually a really, really good resource. He has the whole like encyclopedia of pool shots, all that stuff. It's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, I posted a link on the thread.
So if you're looking for drills, Dr. Dave's drills are the nuts, basically, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, sometimes
just for like
I put some
low to middle level players.
Sometimes I put some on what's like used during the shows, our teleprompter, but it's like my living room TV. I'll like put some on and then play and shoot the drills here. But he's got some excellent videos, even all the way up to like beyond drills, but some like psychological videos, some mental game tips, and he's the same way he can break down the variables of the strokes and the different shots. He can like really do some of that on the different aspects of the game too.
Absolutely, but I mean, I feel like once you get to the realm of like the intangibles, then I think a lot of people benefit more from speaking to and learning from a little bit more of like a player that's actually been in the situations that you're trying to learn to be in yourself. Like, I mean, I personally have I know that, just watching him play pool, he's a good player, but I mean, and he's not competed like he doesn't compete. Mm-hmm. If you want to learn how to compete, you should go and talk to someone that competes.
Yeah.
And get there, you know what I mean? Ultimately, but my opinion is that if you were to master all of the drills that he has available to a pretty high level, that you're pretty much automatically going to be able to compete, just because you're going to know that you're going to apply the right stroke more of the time than the other guy.
Yeah.
And there aren't so many situations in regular rotation pool or 8-ball that come up that you're going to be ill-equipped by just using his drills as your like Bible for like what you're going to work on, I think. Mm-hmm. That will teach you pretty much everything you need to know. Because his pattern play drills and stuff like that and his safety play drills are all super good. They're very tough, and he has like advanced techniques for like make everything harder. and it's all very incremental so that you can advance and work on things, and like it won't be like so tough. Like some of the Darren Appleton drills that he puts out, that Darren Appleton puts out, are so tough that
yeah,
it's like
crazy.
It's like more like an exercise in futility than anything else for like a non-pro, because it's just too hard.
Yeah,
and
we did one of those.
And it's like you're really setting yourself up for failure partly on drills when you set up too difficult drills that are super tough.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna fail every single time. Like some of those drills that he does are impossible for someone that's not like close to 800 speed. Impossible, you know what I mean? Like you could practice forever and maybe never be able to do them because there're just so many elements that are difficult that you're just gonna make mistakes, you know?
Yeah, one way.
And drills are pretty much always set up to where as soon as you get out of line, you're done.
Right.
You know, but like his drills are like, you get out of line, you're done, and the shots are all tough. You know what I mean? It's like brutal.
Right, to get back.
Yeah, well, you can't get back in line. Like, you got to shoot 15 shots and be in line the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, and like the last like 5-6 shots are harder. Like they get harder and harder and harder. It's crazy. Which is not to say that they're not worth it, but I feel like if you're trying to like advance your game incrementally, I mean, a lot of that stuff is like the way that Dr. Dave has it set up is so measurable that it's like really nice because it gives you a metric and you can tell as you're advancing if you every month or so do the full drill and then study it, you'll get better over time if you work on it.
Totally relate to like the immediate gratification, even if it's just a quantifiable number that's like on a piece of paper or something, that to be able to see that gain and point at it and be like, look, I made a gain. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's
like,
helpful for me.
You know, like even just
talk about doing that at the gym. Now our gym is shut down, but
yeah, that's a little brutal for those people trying to get in shape during this shutdown. You can't you can't go to the fitness club.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah. All right.
You ready?
We're gonna play some pool now?
No, that's it for us. We got to let the crew play.
Oh, the crew match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ready for that?
Yeah, well...
that's it for our time.
We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we've got a very special COVID-19 edition of the crew match, which is Eric and David Lash. All of that and more when we return on Sharky Waters, The Night Dive. Very, very interesting development here, folks. David Lash has opted to forfeit his coin toss and is giving the break to Eric. Well, of course, our normal pattern. Last week, Cassandra won against me, and then she's not here due to virus scare. So this match, of course, means absolutely nothing and does not determine anything about who is the best crew member on the show. And thank goodness, because a scratch on the break is not how you want to start this game when everything is at stake. But seeing how this is a meaningless crew match and absolutely has no weight in anything that has to do with who plays pool here with talent or skill. It is just merely a friendly skirmish. I don't know that Dave was looking for the twofer, but he certainly got it. Gonna need to unglue the 8 and the 9 there. And he pulls it off. Great control. Just gets the 8 unglued and gets great shape, and it's sitting in the corner, and a little bit of draw, maybe a little more draw than he wanted. He gets it to drop. Oh! And he wins. Just trying to see if I can get him to turn around. Well, great win by Dave. Unfortunately, because this was just a scrimmage, it has absolutely no meaning whatsoever. We're going to take a short break when we return from this game, which I want to say, Sean, does have meaning. All things have meaning, but just in the grand scheme of determining who's the best crew member, we're not counting this one on the scoreboards. This is a bonus game. This is like when the NBA goes to China and plays a game just so that they can have basketball presence over there. Well, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the Shark Attack. All that and more on Sharky Waters, The Night Dive.
Zero contact rate with the shotgun.
All right, we're back. The boys are lagging for who is going to break. Oh.
Now I gotta run it up.
Really close lag there, Dom. Both guys put a little more mustard on it. than they anticipated. Well, unfortunately, we're not joined by our pro Shark Attack commentator, Cassandra Bryant, this week. She's at home taking care of the kids, making sure they're staying nice and healthy. But fortunately, in her absence, I am joined here in the commentary booth by substitute pro Shark Attack commentator, Eric, the Clock Doctor Okerlund. Eric, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Tor?
I'm doing well.
Hope everyone out there in internet land is doing well. Having a good night. Ready for this match. This should be a good one between Sean and Dom here. Been watching them play a lot. And they have some solid games here. Looks like Dom has a long look at that one across the table.
One ball's down in the corner. We just wanted to give a quick shout out here. Just a quick message, if you will, is what I'm trying to say. Is that this is a volunteer project here by us. This is a community-driven project, and we all do this because we love the game of pool and because we want to stay connected with everyone while everyone's at home and help elevate the community. And one of the unfortunate shot is Dom clips the 5 ball there, looking for the 2. He'll hand it back over to Sean for ball in hand. But as I was saying, besides a few donations here and there, and sometimes at the end of the season we'll get to take a little bit of money home, whatever's left in the break pot. We're a volunteer project, and we are paid for in part by viewers like you, as PBS would say. And so, though we can't post the link in the chat, it goes against the community standards of Facebook. We can shout it out, for now at least, on the mics and put a link in our video description. So if you click over by where it says Sharky Waters, Wednesday Night Dive in with the shark. Below that, you may have to click a button that says See More, but below that there's a link that says Donations, bit.ly/Sharky Waters donate. And Sean goes for the 3 in the corner and unfortunately does not execute. But yeah, if you're feeling generous, go ahead and hit that button. It helps us out quite a bit. Cassandra Bryant not with us in person, but in the chat room. 9-ball race to 7. 3-foul rule is in effect. She reminds us of the rules here.
Yeah, I told her she could commentate via the chat if she'd like.
Nice.
Dom's making a nice little run here, those 3 and 4, and sets up well for the 5. The 3-foul rule is also in effect, which is if you have 2 fouls in a row and your opponent verbalizes that you have 2 fouls in a row, and you make a third one, that is game ender. Also, another fun rule we have here at Sharky Waters is if you have ball in hand and scratch with ball in hand, you owe the set now 12 push-ups because of Clyde, Dom's son Clyde. Upped it from 10 to 12. Thought we needed a little extra push in there. And those push-ups are required then and there. No waiting. On camera before your next shot.
Great run out by Dom. Stays focused. Drops the 9. And you know what they say, man? Like, it's the first win and it's the last win that feel like they're the hardest ones to achieve. And gotta be a nice feeling for Dom here to take the first rack home as a victory.
I have Therese here on the thread who says that they'd love to donate and help us out. And they've been one of our longest standing fans, watching us from the beginning. Couldn't thank you enough. You are amazing. And yes, we'll get in touch with you. That would be great. Thank you so much. Can't wait to come out and maybe play somewhere around your part of your neck of the woods too. That'd be fun. We're trying to make this a traveling show at some point.
As soon as this whole thing blows over and everyone's not so stressed out about traveling and gatherings, really narrow cut, and Dom is able to get the 1 to go in the corner and stays on the right side of the 2. He's a little close, but he's got a great look at that corner pocket.
Easy little tap of the cue ball, pull it back a few inches to try and line up on the 3. Perfect speed there to come off that rail, come back to the 4 and give him a little angle to break it out, or to make that 4 and come around for the 5 next. Tom had a full extension there. He was stretching out to hit that shot and came a little bit closer to the 5 than he was hoping. Let's see if he can make this work.
Does really well to get the 5 in the corner and get great leave on the 6. Dom opts to remove his extension. He's a little trapped up close to the wall there. Good look at the 6. The 7, of course, fell on the break, and so he's now looking at the 8 ball. And it looks like he overstroked it a little bit, and so he's not quite looking to drop it where he first anticipated, but he's definitely got a makeable rack here.
Yeah, he had a good look on that. Just had to pull it back a little bit, and now has a good look on the 9 here in the corner. Just wanted to make sure and not pull that back into the side pocket, and he did that just fine.
Gets the 9 to fall again, 2-0. Dom's off to because in two wins in 2 games, that's as good a start as you can ask for, really. That'll put him back up to break. Sean still is yet to get on the board. Though I think we can confidently say that he'll have his opportunity. And little commentator's clairvoyance there, maybe a dry break for Dom will put things back in the hands of Sean Lewis.
Looks like he's got a clear shot on that one down to the corner. Can you see it from your angle?
It looks like it'll go. Nice and soft. A little bit of top spin leans that forward to get a good look on the 2. Shout out to Christopher Morphus in the chat room. MorphusArt.com, I believe, is his website. We've got quite a bit of Chris Morphus art around the set here. Great looking shot by Sean. 2 goes in the corner, and he gets just enough motion to get a good look on the 3 in the opposite corner.
This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless. Formless. Like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Ooh, nice little masse to come around, make contact, miss the 9, make contact with the 3, and then the cue ball hides behind the 4 there. So, Tor, I know Dom and Sean actually play a lot of pool together. No, not true, but you have been lately, no? Didn't you come over recently?
Played 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times in life.
In life. I wonder how that's going to affect Dom's mental game here. With someone that he plays with and respects the game and knows very well.
I think the relationship here goes way beyond pool. We're looking at the story of 2 guys that are also fathers with kids who are very close friends. Great looking jump by Sean. Double kiss on the 3 and doesn't quite get it to go where he wants, but that's a clean shot. Avoided the scratch being locked up behind the 4. That's the silver lining here. But as I was saying, Logan and Clyde, Dom and Sean's, and Dom.
Oh, wow.
Karams the 9 out of nowhere.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
3-0.
Middle of a story, man. He could have waited for you to finish your story at least, but no, just right there. Boom.
I think Dom said,
3
you know
games to
what?
0.
I'm going to write a story of my own, and it's called The Story of 3-0.
That's a good one.
I needed like
Is there a
whoopee
sequel?
after that or something, and just no response, man.
Whoopee!
Thanks. Questions from Lash in the commentary booth asking what's the meaning of that? The ending of what story? Called the
book called 3-0.
3-0. Well, he's writing it still.
Yeah, we got to wait for the sequel, man. That was the first book, is 3-0.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, it's like in Star Wars. They blew up the Death Star, and then you gotta wait, and then something else happens. We'll find out.
You can't tell the whole story in the beginning. You wouldn't have any hook. So for all of you excited for Dom's next book, sequel to 3-0, he is writing it currently. You can even watch him in the process if you'd like. Nice, easy. He's going. I thought he was going for a safe there, and he just
Gets it to fall.
banked that right in. With a great leave on the 3 down the rail, too. Or down the line, same pocket.
We were saying, though, I think these guys, 2 pool players, they know each other's games inside and out. I mean, Dom will pretty openly tell you that Sean's got a stronger game, definitely got a higher Fargo. Able to hang with a couple players that not many in the area that not many people can hang with. But the thing that comes from knowing someone's game inside and out gives you a unique advantage when you're playing against them. And I mean, these guys know each other really, really closely through their kids being such close friends and spending a lot of time. You can imagine that a lot of time with the kids spent here on the set means a lot of time playing pool.
I would imagine they spend more time just sort of hanging out, playing with the kids, not necessarily playing pool. So they know each other on more of a personal level than necessarily on a pool level.
Definitely both of those things are true. I'm fortunate enough to get to be here for a lot of the social gatherings when the cameras are off here at the set. And Sean's present for a lot of those. Great shot in the corner by Dom. Looking at the 7 now.
I think he was thinking a little bit too much about where he wanted that cue ball afterwards, and does what I do sometimes and makes the leave, but forgets to make the shot.
You know what I mean, though, Eric? Like, I don't know. Maybe I know you're like a softball, play a lot of sports, softball, batting sports, volleyball as well. Like when you are privileged to play alongside someone or against someone who's at like a much higher level, then you tend to like play up to their level. You get a little more focused because you know that you're there to try to topple the winner or topple the champion.
100%. Actually, I'm a firm believer of the best way to get better at any skill or any sport or anything really is, or any competitive thing, is to play people who are better than you, who are going to kick your ass over and over and over again until you start learning how to not let that happen.
100%.
That's actually how I got good at pool, basically, was going to the bar. Yeah, that's how I got decent at pool, basically, was going to the bar and...
Good is relative.
Getting my ass kicked over and over. Oh, no, he rattles out the 9. So the first chapter of Dom's sequel may not be what he was hoping in the beginning, but he still has a chance to rewrite the rest of it.
Yeah, drama in the 4th chapter. Well, you won't see too many shots like that end with a miss when Sean's up to bat. Speaking of metaphorically speaking, of course, of batting. But yeah, I think there's an element. I've heard Dom talk about this as well. Like when you are the best player in the room, you tend to play at the level of the people that are maybe not as strong as you. And when you're the worst player in the room, I think it forces you in some type of fight or flight kind of mentality to like play at the top of your game. And I definitely
or
feel
just
like
fitting in.
Totally.
Like driving on the freeway. Drive the speed with the flow of traffic. I don't always drive the same speed limit, right?
It's a very good point. Nice strong break from Sean. He's able to drop the 4.
He's got a good setup here to run a couple, it looks like.
You know, we saw in the intro sequence here, Dom taking an extra opportunity with disinfectant wipes to make sure that the table and the balls are all clean and pristine, and that we've all been sanitized. Excuse me, I was going to say desanitized.
Desanitized.
It's the opposite of what I meant. 3 in the corner, a little bit of draw, gives him a good look at the 5 now.
I like watching Sean play. He has a nice pace to his shots, and he never seems to put on any more than he needs for that particular shot. And I find that very satisfying to watch and inspiring for my own game.
You know what? It's taken me a long time to learn it conceptually, and it's taking me an even longer time to put it into action. But that is the understanding that, like, it does not take a lot of force to pocket a ball, and it takes even less force for you to blow your leave on the next shot.
Absolutely. The more those balls are moving around, the more that cue ball's moving around, it just opens up more room for error.
Yeah. And Sean's able to take that one, 9 in the corner pocket, puts the score at 3-2. But I have this tendency that I've been overcoming for the last couple months that I've been practicing. And that tendency is that if you shoot a shot and it goes in, that the next shot you shoot it the same. Just because of the rush of, like, that shot went in, that was a tough shot, or I shot that really perfect. I say you, but really I mean me. It is something that I've had to overcome.
As in sort of getting caught up in the moment or the emotion of it, good or bad, versus sort of resetting and staying with your pre-shot routine, playing your game.
And the drills that Sean was talking about in the intro, I'm feeling are like another strong break, able to get the 8 to fall in the corner that time.
Gets himself that exact same leave on the 1 here.
Yeah, that pre-stroke routine, and then, like as Sean was saying, quantifying that distance of follow or that distance of draw, or really just that distance between the cue ball and your object ball, and like associating that with the feeling of how much power you're putting into the shot. Not just like having an idea for it, but like really quantifying that and know how far to pull back on your stroke and all that kind of stuff. I'm appreciating that we had that drill in the beginning as Sean drops the 1 in the corner pocket.
Yeah, that's
a good look on the 2.
Yeah, nice. And that's the difference between like those feel shots or feel players versus technical fundamental players.
Yeah, reminds me of Torrey Hayes. Is it Hayes, right? Is how you say his last name?
Yeah, Torrey Hayes, I believe. He was a guest on the show.
Yeah, a friend of ours and guest on the show. Great leave on the 3. The 2 goes down in the corner. Torrey told us, and I think the cameras may have been off when he was saying this, but he was saying what frustrated him is that all his pool playing friends that were better than him, they just called him Bam Bam because he would just hit the shot. You know, Bam Bam, like the kid from the Flintstones who's like super strong, because he would just hit the shots full swing every time, and it was like he couldn't control his speed, and it was that nickname and the frustration of like having a negative connotation with his nickname that caused him to recognize that he wanted to change his game up and get that pre-stroke routine going.
Yeah, and you know, that doesn't mean he's not a good shot maker, because he was making solid shots. It's just adding that extra strength, which is what I did for a while. It took me a while to learn that and slow myself down. But until you kind of master that, you know, reining in that power a little bit, you can definitely get stuck at a certain skill level of being able to make any shot you want, but not necessarily leaving yourself good runs. Ooh.
Really, really tight, thin cut, Sean tries to get that 4 in the corner, and he just hits the fin and narrowly misses. Yeah, that's what you were saying about Torrey's ability as a shot creator, but just not as a thinking about the next shot creator.
Well, I think that's who he was back in the day, right? And that's why they called him that. But he's zeroed that in quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Since, yeah, he's a great guy to watch play, and just a great guy in general. Positive attitude, which is important to bring to the table. That positive attitude and that confidence, basically.
Yeah.
Nice shot on the 7 all the way down, slide it into the corner, giving him a perfect leave here on the 9. You know, one thing I've noticed with Sean when he's setting up to his shots, which is kind of cool, is he puts that cue down. I don't know if it's just part of his pre-shot routine and is part of his thing, or if he's actually sort of lining up the cue and then bringing his hand into the position and knowing that his cue is already online. But maybe it started out like that and then it's just morphed into his pre-shot routine. But I think it helps him line it up and line those shots up a little bit better.
I think so too. As he lines up here on the break, 3-3 to start this next round. I was fortunate enough. It was probably about a year ago now, but I basically got like a 25-minute lesson with Sean one of the first times I met him, and he talked a little bit about his form there. Mainly to point out that I was waving my cue all around and putting it up on my shoulder and dragging it on the ground and all this stuff. And he talked about how he tries to, and I may be paraphrasing this a little bit, but he talked about how he likes to keep his cue like in more or less in line with where it's going to go on the table. And you can see that cue more or less, unless he's like chalking it up or messing with an extension or something like that, he pretty much always has it facing like forward north, if you will, of his stance.
I remember when you came back on set, or I guess I should say I came back on set, and you were talking to me about learning these things from Sean, and that was a big factor in your game. I remember like you stepped up your skill level significantly when you started taking that line into effect and being very conscious of it. But yeah, I think that's important to get that line, maybe help use the cue or just your mind's eye or whatever you want to use to find that line. But getting that cue in line and then positioning your body around the cue versus getting your body where you think it should be and then putting your cue up there, it's sort of a backwards way of doing it. Razor thin cut on the 4 there. Cue ball ends up making contact with the 5, and it worked out in his favor. It came off the rail far enough for him to get a look into that corner. Perfect speed almost on that 7. I think he was trying to come to the other side for the angle, but he's got no problem with these two. Nice run there to finish the match and take the lead from Dom, putting this match at 4-3 in Sean's favor. You know, Sean has a pretty similar break to Dom's, that same technique, that same setup that throws that ball into the top corner pocket right away. Good thing commentator's curse didn't come in and he did it anyways. It looks like that 3 might give him a little trouble. Not sure if it blocks the whole thing. Sean called a push here. So he can hit the cue ball and do whatever he wants with it. He can even hit it half an inch if he'd like. And then Dom gets to decide whether he will take the shot or give it back to Sean.
Have you ever seen someone push and then just smack it and completely mess up the whole arrangement at the table?
I'm pretty sure I've done that. Yeah, first-hand experience.
Cool.
Yeah, or like push and accidentally hit it too far and you just line them up with the perfect leave. Or hit like a perfectly safe shot and then they don't even get off the table or get off their chair. They're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you just lock
Yeah,
yourself
go ahead and
up.
take it. Yeah. So that's a tricky thing. You got to make it tough, but not too tough.
Yeah.
Observer is safe to bring that to the other end of the table, but I believe Dom can see some of that yellow on the one ball. It's good contact with a slight little masse shot all the way down the table. It moved about an inch or two. Those are always fun to watch. Those tiny little masse shots that just get that cue ball moving a tiny bit. They're a lot tougher than they look like actually to sort of master and get that slight curve on there. I believe he was going for the carom shot on the 3 into the side, which worked, and then that one ball flew back and forth back into that same corner pocket. He's got a good look at the 2 from corner to corner here. Now he's wishing he hadn't put that 6 right there earlier when he played that push. So that 6 ball looks like it's right in the way of this shot. He would normally put a little bit of top left on there and bring it around 3 rails after making it, but 6 might get in the way, so he's going to have to change up his pattern. There we go. Hits right in, but it doesn't matter. He hit it square enough that ended up doing the same thing and coming around for a decent look on that 5, and it breaks out the 6 for his next shot. He was hoping that cue ball would stop a little bit sooner to get it off the rail. Shouldn't be a problem, but when that cue ball is a little bit close to the rail, it limits some of your capabilities to put different English and manipulate that cue ball a little bit, but didn't seem to be an issue for this guy. Made it and has a good angle on the 7 to bring the cue ball back up the table for the 8. Uh-oh, made slight contact with that 9 and blocks the shot on the 8 here. Wonder what he has in mind. He might be walking over to grab his jump cue. Let's see if maybe we can change this camera angle, get a good look on this jump shot. I love these jump shots here. This will be his second one of the night. just slightly firm than he was wanting to and hit the top of that 8 ball. And the cue ball ended up off the table, giving Dom ball in hand here. It's not going to be the easiest 2-ball run, but I think he's got it in him. Makes that no problem. Those two, 8 and the 9, bringing his win, the match to 4-4. This has been neck and neck. He went 3 up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then Sean took 4. Don took 1 back. So this is turning out to be quite a solid match, which I think we knew was going to come from the get-go. 2 good players, 2 good friends on the table. It's always bound for a good time. Dom steps up and smashes the rack there, dropping his patent pending ball in the top right corner and a second one in the bottom right.
4 and the 6.
Yeah, 4 and the 6 down with not the best look at the 1 here, but it's clear shot.
You know what they say, 4 and the 6, 1's in the sticks. Because it's very far away. They don't say that, I just made that up. But
they say that now.
yeah, trying to get it started.
4 and the 6, got 1 in the sticks. Leaving Sean a shot here on the 1. I'm not sure what exact look he can have on it, so we're going to see what he's going to do here. You know, he was looking at that side pocket. I was thinking he was going for a bank in the side, or maybe he was just trying to make sure and miss it so he can get a good safe shot, which he did.
Tricky. Not a whole lot of options here. That 5 is pretty much blocking out everything on the left-hand side.
That 9 ball is blocking the jump shot pretty well. Unless he's going to jump kick, maybe. Which would be jump over and hit that head rail first and then come back and hit the 1. I can't see from my angle exactly what he's got, so.
I think you were absolutely right. That was the shot that he was going for, but unfortunately, it can be really, really hard to control what happens after a jump shot when that cue ball hits the table again.
Yeah, we were talking about there's sort of 2 levels of jump shots. At first you learn how to be able to get that cue ball up and over your, trouble ball and make contact with your object ball. And then once you sort of mastered how to do that, then you zero in on very specific and detailed and small changes of cue placement on that cue in order to make the cue ball, have backspin after the jump, or top, or left, or right. In that case, he wanted to jump and have a little bit of left spin so that it would come off the rail. But it was like 2 millimeters off, and that changes the whole shot.
I think jump shots are like one club short of just playing golf at that point. Getting a draw on a golf swing is like incredibly difficult.
It is, yeah. I've spent a lot of time actually trying to learn how to get backspin on a golf ball, and it is definitely difficult. In that case, it's about hitting the ball with the club before you hit the ground, and sort of trapping the ball into the ground and smashing it into the ground, and then letting those grooves on the face take over.
I mean, that sounds pretty similar to what you have to do with a jump shot. I mean,
yeah.
to way to break the 3 off of the rail there. That was really high level. I mean, you gotta, you're not only thinking about the angle that you're hitting the cue ball to make the jump, but then how much high or low or left or right of center, and then it's like amplified because there's not a lot of resistance in air stopping it from spinning that way, unlike if it were to stay on the table.
Yeah, a lot of similarities. They call golf a game of inches, even though it's played over miles. I'm not sure if they have a similar saying for pool, but it should be a game of millimeters, basically.
Yeah, it definitely should be. In fact, let's start calling it that right now. You in?
It's a game of millimeters, folks.
That's what I heard.
We do the metric system here on Sharky Waters.
Yeah,
In this instance.
we do.
Nice solid contact and draw back on that 7. Drifted a little bit further than he was hoping, but he can make this work here.
Yeah, I think we're definitely got a makeable shot here.
Ooh, that's got to slow down. I think it stopped just in time to make that shot doable here. Looks like he's switching hands. Might be hitting lefty. I had to put a lot of bottom left on that cue ball in order to keep it out of the other corner pocket, prevent it from scratching, and just misses, leaving Dom a relatively straight in shot into the other corner here. He makes easy work of that 9 ball, taking the lead in the match again, 5-4.
Unfortunate there. Unfortunate end for Sean. It seems like maybe kind of to someone who doesn't know his game that well, it seems like that's kind of a boastful move, right? To lefty on a 9 ball. But we've seen him play left-handed. He plays left-handed better than a lot of people play right-handed.
Yeah,
I think
that is true.
Definitely within his comfort zone to finish a game like that.
I think that's one of those shots that you definitely need to practice if you want to excel your game a little bit, because there are a few shots where the bridge is a lot less predictable, I would imagine. A lot less harder to control. Another factor, if you will.
Yeah. Early days for me, I shot better with the bridge than I did just with my hand because the bridge was more consistent than my bridge hand was.
Oh yeah, nice and solid, stable, wasn't moving.
Totally.
That
That's
would make sense.
Changing a lot though. 6 ball falls on the break.
Saw Dom readjust there before he hit his one shot and missed it. I think he was having a hard time getting comfortable over that. It's too bad that cue ball came down and broke the 2 out, giving it a good look into the corner. But Sean here doesn't have much going on with this one. I think he might be looking at a bank shot or a bank combo, maybe his only options.
Plays it safe there. Definitely takes a lot of the offensive options away from Dom, but I think that 1 ball doesn't quite nestle up against the 2 as much as he had hoped, leaving a line there. And it was a pretty thin line, all that being said, and Dom just barely clips the 9 ball. Nice little carom off the 1 ball, gets the 2 to fall in the corner. Really tight shot there on the one. Narrowly misses the corner, but fortunately for Sean, there's a lot of table and a lot of balls between the cue ball and the one as he hands it back over to Dom. Dom takes a moment to survey the situation. Puts a little left masse on it. He's able to curve around those balls, but unfortunately just catches a little bit too much of the thread and narrowly misses the object ball, giving ball in hand to Sean.
I had someone on the thread here just asking if Dom buys pool tables. And the short answer of that is yes. Clean slate pool tables. We buy and sell some pool tables if we have the room for the inventory or if it's the right table and that sort of thing. But if anyone out there has questions or has wants a refelt or wants to get rid of a table or move a table or has anything to do with pool tables, Clean Slate Pool Tables and Don McHenry here are your people to contact.
Yeah, and you can contact the company's phone number directly. Clean Slate Pool Tables, that's 253-737-7807. And a lot of variables if they want to buy a table or not, but just in general, I would say always, if you're interested in selling, it can never hurt to send the photos. We love, even if it's not a table that we're going to buy, we love looking at photos of all tables and talking to people about their tables, and we would just love to hear from you regardless about what you have and what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And even if it's not the table for us, we may know the person that does want to buy that table. So feel free to just reach out and say hello and let us know what you're working with.
Yeah, 100%. We basically, we know a lot of people in the pool community, and we love meeting more and spreading our joy and love of this game to as many people as we can.
Well, Sean's able to sink the 9-ball there, and neck and neck continues as we're tied up.
To interrupt Tor, what he was going to say there.
It's like, it reminds me of episode of, I think it's Futurama, where he's like, we're so connected, it's like we're finishing each other's, and the other guy goes, sandwiches.
Another decent break by Sean there. Gets his, was that the 3? No. 6 ball down in the corner pocket and has a look at the one, but not much to do with it. He was just trying to get those two at opposite ends of the table. The cue ball drifted out past that bundle of balls there, but ended up still getting trapped by the 5. Great hit with a kick shot there, and no problem on that. Kick, bank, 1 into the side. Just as he planned it. and also plan to leave 2 balls in the way, 4 and the 9, to attempt another kick shot. Just barely misses that 2 on the kick shot. That was great contact. Didn't leave Sean with much either. Almost straight onto this rail. I think he's got maybe a look at the bank. He could cut it. He could play safe. So many options out there on the pool table. Let's tune in and see which one he's going to choose.
Great cliffhanger. Tune in next time to Sharky Waters.
Tune in 12 seconds to see the safe shot by Sean. Successfully.
Pretty safe looking, gotta say. It's a good 6 feet away from another ball. It's been washing its hands, coughing into its elbow.
Yeah, we need to send that ball home. Go to your home and stay there. There's 2 balls moving all around the table and met back up next to the 8. Leaving a tough cut here. Cue ball's very close to the 2. You can see Dom, Sharky, and Sean there at the last minute, moving his marker for the 5th win. Sean refocuses here, gets ready to make a cut on this too. Hits that thing with authority, comes off 2 rails, and drifts back just far enough to give him a cut into the corner on the 3. I think he was hoping to miss that 4, come around it, but he hit it just enough to give him a look into that same corner pocket. You know, another thing I like watching about Sean's game is you can see that even when he misses a shot or misses a leave or mishits something slightly, you can see he maybe gets a little bit frustrated in the moment, but he drops it and lets it go very quickly, refocuses as if it never happened, which I think is the key to being successful and at something for long periods of time. You can't let any of those thoughts build up. Really, you got to just move on from moment to moment.
It's definitely that's definitely representative of like one end of a spectrum of people's responses to frustration on the pool table. Makes me think about the far end, other end of that spectrum is probably like a Brian Trudeau type, still mad about a dogged 6 ball from 7 months ago.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Shots fired. Boom, roasted.
Lot of love to Brian. He's a great player, but that's one of his strengths is definitely not letting the shot go.
See, I think that just takes up space in your brain. That you don't thinking about things you don't need to be thinking about that aren't influencing the current moment, the current game, the current shot. Whole bunch of spin on that cue ball.
And the reason I comically bring Brian's name up in that way is because like dude still wins games.
Yeah, solid player. Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of different things like that can put cap on your potential if you don't master them. And mastering your emotions is definitely a big part of being a good pool player. Well, Sean's on the hill.
Yeah, see, it reminds me of Earl Strickland there, where he's still a successful, professional, dominating pool player, but I feel like he lets his emotions get to him sometimes. So, I don't know.
Earl the Pearl, they call him, right?
Earl the Pearl Necklace Strickland.
I don't think that's...
No, is that... I'm sorry, I think I added
I don't
a word
think
in there.
anyone
But,
has that name. So, yeah.
My mom's calling. I got to take this. So...
Well, Eric's got to take a phone call, so we're going to go ahead and mute his mic for the rest of the show. And focus on the family-friendly game of pool.
We love this fucking game.
100%.
With all that laughing and sharking going on, Sean sets up, doesn't let it interfere with his focus, even though he's cracking a smile right now. He's not thinking about it at all. He's just thinking about the 2-ball and his next shot after that.
And probably the shot after that as well.
Likely. Yeah. All pool related.
Well, Sean was trying to be really tactful with that shot, and unfortunately he contacted the 6-ball, which got in the way of his access to the 4. So that ended up being a little bit awkward. He's going to have to survey his options here and decide what's going to...
If you can't contact that 4 directly, next best option besides a safe would probably be a kick for that 4 into the side. But he might be able to catch a sliver of this 4. Or to drift it in that same side pocket, or maybe just play a safe shot and try to hide the cue ball. We go kicks with a little left English, makes good contact on the 4, puts it on the other side of the table. Still has a direct line here for Dom from that cue ball to the 4. Let's see what kind of magic he's going to make happen. Goes for the cut, just barely misses it, but that cue ball slides off the 6 there, hits the rail, slows down enough to give Sean another block shot here. Another kick shot, I believe.
Very spicy attempt. Kicks, sends the 4-ball back, combos into the 9, and gets it moving towards that corner pocket.
think he was hoping to catch just slightly less of that 4 ball, and if he had missed that 9, he might have been able to rattle into that corner pocket and make the 4. But either way, Dom takes a good look on that 4 and sets himself up well for this next shot here. Takes a big swing at that 5, cuts a little bit too much to miss, but drifts the 5 past the 8, stealing the cut shot into the easy, straightforward cut shot into the corner there, just leaving Dom a couple fewer options. You know, I am digging the music tonight. It is what the kids would call live or fire.
A bop.
It's
There's
a
another
bop.
one that I'm hearing a lot.
What is all this music here tonight? Is this Beats by Tor?
Yes, I believe it is.
Solid.
This is music, with the exception of a couple tracks that were submitted by some friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on this list is music that was made by me.
Yeah, great stuff. Tor is a extremely talented beatist. I don't think that's what it's called, but he makes beats like nobody's biz. And he had a tour going actually this week. We didn't think we were gonna have a show today. He was supposed to be, I believe, in Portland tonight, or maybe Tacoma. But he had a 4-stop show all around. And
Tacoma tonight, yeah.
Tacoma tonight, then Portland, and a couple other places. But they got canceled, because of this quarantine effect of no more than 10 people now?
It keeps shrinking. It was 250, and the majority of the venues we were performing at had a capacity that was more than 250 people. And so everything was shut down until Spokane, and then fire marshal or whatever has to assess all of the buildings that have entertainment hosted, and the party that we were supposed to play in Spokane was on the 17th, which was St. Patrick's Day, and they had rented out like a parking lot to extend their capacity, which put it beyond 250 people. And because they had advertised and sold tickets to that many people, it was like beyond the point of no return, and the fire marshal required that the event be canceled. So,
man, that's a sad twist of events there.
Big time.
So what have you been doing in the meantime to continue your love of music, and getting that out there to the people?
Well, the only place that I've got where music happens for me that's not closed down is my studio. And so what I've been doing is, if you go to @BeatsByTor on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or all of those places, or beatsbytor.com, I've been streaming some live sessions out of my studio, me creating music, collaborating with other artists. We're doing a thing right now because all our venue jobs and our tours and everything are canceled. My plan is to, from start to finish, write, record, produce, and get signed and released an album. We're gonna have I'm working with a couple different local artists, and our goal is to get a record deal while everything is shut down, and just to prove to ourselves and everyone else that we can still be productive and we can still create.
Right, you don't need that. None of this COVID is gonna stop you guys. Gonna keep it going, and your studio is badass. It's
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's in the basement right now. That's full of just about every instrument you can think of, except for wind instruments. right?
That's
You're
right, yeah, I
Not a
don't-
wind instrument guy.
I used to own a trombone, but I was really bad at it. Well, those draw drills are paying off. Sean gets a great look here at the 9-ball.
Well, I'll bring my Native American wood flute over there if you ever need any wind instruments. In the tune of D.
Game, set,
It's like
and
Sean
match.
makes it. Yeah.
Sean does make it. Great play from both guys, 5-6. You know, last attempt when Sean was on the show for our Christmas episode, he took Dom down pretty quick, and Dom definitely like came out of the gate swinging and played well. And against a guy that's over 100 points in Fargo above you can't be mad about the result. Well, anyways, Sean has taken his $10 and put his $10 in the treasure chest that is inside another treasure chest, and that means that now we will be playing the Clean Slate Billiards sponsored break pot. Eric is racking up the balls. He's checking them twice. All you got to do to win the money in the treasure chest is. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, here we'll pass it off and get when Eric's done racking them up. Maybe. Oh yeah, thanks, Sean. So it's a one rack of 9-ball, and you got to get that 9-ball in. You can carry them, you can combo, you can run them all out. Luck counts. But yeah, we'll see what Sean's able to do here. If he gets that 9-ball to fall and runs them all out. What a treat that would be, walking home with all the cash in the break pot. He's taking a look at the rack. What's the word? It's no good?
I'm not going to critique it other than to say that I don't think any of the balls are touching any of those balls.
You've heard that before. But I'm not magic racking.
No, I'm not magic racket,
I mean, some of them are touching.
We've been getting some criticisms about the rack of the break pot.
but Jason shot.
Lots of heat.
Get the Jason shot moment.
Jason shot moment.
David Lash over there
But the nine's not touching.
making sure that he gets a.
Every time it's just to take a photo of it.
The nine's not touching any of the balls except for the two.
It's because the 9's special.
It's not touching the tip.
It doesn't want to get sick.
See from there.
Yeah, no, you got a bad glare in there.
Actually, if it was just
All right, well-
touching the 5-ball, I would go for it. See what Frankie started? Because then I could make it.
That's what I'm saying. Frankie comes in here.
Wait for me next week. Frankie got to rack his own.
All right, what am I doing wrong?
So Dom has re-racked the balls.
Floating on you, so you gotta move. You're not letting it go in the right spot. There's like normally one spot that's really good.
All right, well, a new section of this show is going to be Sean teaching me how to rack after this break pot. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, rack lessons with Sean the Pearl Lewis.
With Sean Rack 'em Up Lewis.
I think my current nickname is the Robot.
Sean the Robot Lewis. I like that. I can see that. That's fitting.
Well, here we go. Clean slate pool tables break pot. Big swing. Good luck to you, Sean. We got action.
He makes 3 balls. Good job, Dom.
That's a great
That is
break from Sean.
Yeah. Got 2.
The 7,
get on
the
this
8,
side of
and the
it.
4. We got to look at the 1. It's a little awkward here. Hard to say what he's going to do.
Looks like he's also got to get onto this other side of the 2-ball for his next shot. So he doesn't have much from that side of the table.
Yeah, tricky.
Tricky.
Well, this is something else here.
Sean sizing it up. Walking around looking at every angle.
What do you think about like a shot clock in future break pots, maybe for season 3?
Sean's got 4 seconds left without being penalized.
Extra time right after the break on the shot clock.
Sean called his time immediately after breaking, unfortunately, and so his time is now almost up. His extended time.
This really is the shot that matters right here.
I think
Crucial.
it's more that I'm trying to get him to focus on what we're talking about.
Let's see if
At
he's
the
got this
moment,
shot. Let's
I
let him
think he
focus
does.
up here.
Fuck, he had that leave coming all the way around the table.
Oh, can you imagine if the second hit was
Kissed it in again.
Well, hey, I mean, hell of a
It's gonna be
break and
such
hell
a
of a
tough
game from
shot.
Sean. I mean, you can't be mad about the
tough
result.
shot.
The break pot's really tough, wouldn't you say, Dom?
I mean, you're in good company. There's not a single person up there who's won it yet. We've had Sean in here twice, David Lash, Damian Ponkonig, James DeVee. We've had some like really Jeff Jerome. We've had like all the strong players we can get in here. Dan Louie, Steven Lingelbach. You guys, when all this dust blows over, you guys can come try and win and see if it gets it. That was a pretty. I thought he was gonna have it. It was a good break there.
3 balls on the break.
I got no
Yeah.
shape. That shot was like just hard to make the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that is like,
Well, everybody
No chance.
in the
No
chat
future.
rooms, thanks for the comments and the engagements. If you're doing the share button, thanks for that. If you're doing the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, thanks for that. Sean, thanks for coming in.
hey, you're welcome. Thanks for
Everybody,
having
do
me.
your part on keeping your inner council circles small and keep your outer councils at a distance. Wash your hands, wash your pool balls, wash your tables, wash your cues. Thank you for the donations to everybody who did that. Kathy Stanley, I saw your message about the pool table. I will be in contact with you soon about that. Clean Slate Pool Tables, that's me. I'll contact you through that or through my Facebook directly. Tipsy Tomato, we're sorry we can't make it there. If we could, we would, but we can't. So we'll probably just order some distance pizza from some local delivery spot around here or something. And Harold Prine, thanks for the help with the pool crew again. Did my best, but Sean got me in the end. It was a good start. Some of you guys who are extra close fans who are in contact with us, I know that I've like shot out message to you guys individually. Just want to touch base with you guys. Make sure that everybody's hunkered down safe. Contact us. Let us know. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to know that everyone's okay. And we want to know how you're handling the situation because we're doing our best to keep you guys entertained. Keep your practice up, and remember, perfect practice makes perfect performance. Until next week, enjoy peace.